So what does this do to an artist? Glenn Phillips, we're going to be hearing from soon. Any artist who has a music catalog, what does this technology enable them to do they wouldn't easily be able to do on their own?
I mean, I think, it depends a little bit on the artist and what they're trying to do. Across the board, particularly if we look at older work, it opens it up for all kinds of licensing that didn't exist before. So, for example, this year, in their earnings call, Warner called out being able to now license older tracks. I think one of the ones they named was Sammy Davis Jr., where they used AudioShake to be able to create the instrumental and a cappella separation for one of his tracks that they could then license. We did one with a very famous 70s rock band. It was a 7-figure sync deal. Like, that's a lot of money for an artist, right? It's a lot of money for anyone. And that was something that they wouldn't have landed that deal, right? Because this is older audio, and otherwise the film or the TV commercial, they would have gone to another clip. So you have things like that. Then you have new listening experiences. So things like Dolby Atmos or Sony 360 and creating this idea of a surround sound experience, or gaming or remix. You think of what's happening on TikTok right now, and fans wanting to throw themselves into the music. Like, we did something with Green Day where they made it possible for fans to become the guitarist in Green Day, basically using AudioShake separations so that then their fans could be a member of the band.
And so, implicit in that answer too is that the industry is also going to benefit from having all these new remixes and this new lens and this new way to chop up their existing catalog. What do those partnerships start to look like?
Yeah, I mean, from the very start, we thought it was really important to work with the industry. There might be artists who don't want their music split, right? They might think, imagine you went to Van Gogh and you were like, hey, I'm just going to pull out the sunflower. And maybe Van Gogh wouldn't be into that. Maybe he would. Probably if he grew up with TikTok and YouTube, he might be into it, provided he was still going to get paid. But he might not like that if that wasn't the era he came with, or because he feels like he put this one thing out into the world this way. Like, I think you should be respectful of that. And so we worked I know Van Gogh's not a musician, by the way, but I mean, I think that's like a really easy way to visualize it, right? Is because you have the same equivalent in music. And I think most younger artists today are super excited about things like remixes. Remixes, I think now, in a way, back in the days of like Public Enemy or DJ Shadow or any of this stuff, and that kind of that remix culture grew out of, remixes were seen as this very, very renegade thing and kind of, an illicit and illegal, and they were the subject of all these lawsuits. And today, I think they're generally perceived by the industry as something that extends the life of a song and the relevance of the original track. But there are artists who don't like them. And I just think you have to kind of be respectful of that and try and make sure that your technology, that there's that thinking is baked into it. So those were our first customers before we got pulled into film, before we got pulled into transcription or captioning or localization or any of those things. We started in music. So we work with all the major label groups, tons of indies, distributors, publishers.